Good afternoon. Welcome and thank you for joining us at SUNY New Paltz this afternoon. My name is Donald Christian. I have the privilege of serving as president here at the college. It's a pleasure to have Governor Cuomo here with us today. We also have some special guests with us who I want to acknowledge individually. First, Ulster County Executive Mike Hine. Susan Zemet, Supervisor, Town of New Paltz. Village Mayor of New Paltz, Jason West. Marcia Gordon is President and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester. Dr. Lynn Schleifer, founder and CEO of Regeneron Pharmaceuticals and co-chair of the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council. And Dennis Murray, president at Marist College and co-chair also of the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council. We have with us today other educational leaders and other elected officials. Welcome to all of you. During the last 2 years, Governor Cuomo has taken bold steps to ensure that our SUNY colleges and universities play a key role in revitalizing the state's economy. This is why he created the SUNY 2020 grants and made sure that academics from all fields were asked to participate in the regional economic development councils. He knows that our SUNY system is one of the jewels of this state and that by working with New York businesses, we can help train and educate our young people for the jobs of tomorrow. A great example of that is the 3D printing or digital design and fabrication initiative that we're developing at SUNY New Paltz in collaboration with other regional organizations and which will be the focus of a conference here on campus next week. In his 2013 State of the State address, the governor expanded his economic agenda to focus on innovation with a plan that revolves around SUNY and puts our world-class colleges and universities at the center of the state's economic development strategy. Building on the success of the regional economic development councils and the SUNY 2020 initiatives, the governor created new innovation hotspots and launched a $50 million state-run venture capital fund to help bring to market the technological innovations born at our SUNYs. It has truly been an honor to work side by side with Governor Cuomo and his team, and I certainly thank him for his dedication to ensuring that our higher education institutions continue to be the best in the nation. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Marcia Gordon, President and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester.
Thank you, President Christian. This is truly an exciting day for SUNY New Paltz and the entire Hudson Valley business community. In fact, this has been an exciting 28 months for the Hudson Valley. Our Regional Economic Development Council was a Best Plan awardee this year, winning more than $92 million to fund 84 of our projects. And the governor has made more progress on building a new Tappan Zee Bridge during his time in office than any other governor in the last 20 years. And now he is bringing a new, innovative way to attract entrepreneurs and hatch new businesses right here in New York. The governor's tax-free community is an unprecedented investment in both our SUNY system and our business community. Now more than ever before, the state is and will continue to be an essential partner in creating private sector jobs and growing our economy. Not only will this initiative help the next generation of innovators open businesses, but it will encourage other companies to bring their business to New York and partner with SUNY. This is exactly the type of opportunity and partnership business communities here in New Paltz and across the Hudson Valley have waited for. and now they have the opportunity to thrive in New York. I thank the governor for his continued partnership and friendship with the business community, and I'm now pleased to introduce the co-chair of the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council and President CEO of Regeneron, Dr. Len Schleifer. Len?
Thank you, Marcia. Welcome, Governor, to Ulster County. It's great to be here. For me, I have a lot of connections, not only as a co-chair of one of the Governor's Regional Economic Development Council. Ulster County is one of our jewels of the region, and I can tell you that from first-hand experience. I spent most of my summers as a young lad just a few miles from here on the other side of the Mohonk Mountain. I slithered up and down the Lemon Squeeze, went to the top of the lookout, chased golf balls down the hill on the Mohonk Mountain, did it all in this region, and it was a source of great memories, fond memories for me. So it is great to be here and to welcome the governor here. Most people, when they get to introduce somebody of the stature of Governor Cuomo, start by saying it's an honor. I'm not here in that capacity. I feel it's an obligation to actually introduce him and evaluate him and let you know what I think. Well, let me first tell you how I got started with the governor, because I got started with them, and I can already see, where's Amy? He's off script, she's getting nervous. It's okay. 25 years ago when I started Regeneron, in just a little apartment on campus of Cornell Medical School in the New York Hospital, we didn't have much, nobody believed in us, and we needed a few bucks. And there was another governor who was forward-looking at the time, Governor Mario Cuomo, who was willing to invest in our company, and he gave us actually made an investment in a company of $200,000. Had they held on to that investment, that would be worth nearly $20 million today. But the problem I have is once you get in with the Cuomos, it's very hard to get out. So here I am, like it or not. But let me tell you my honest opinion about the governor and why I really am pleased to introduce him. The governor is a great executive. He knows how to govern. He knows how to make a difference. But that's what he's supposed to do. Nothing unusual. The governor's supposed to govern. And he has governed. He's lowered tax rates to the lowest rates for the middle class in decades. He's made the government open for business. From a state that was felt to be the least friendly to business, the doors are wide open. You can communicate with the government. You don't always get exactly what you want, but there is a dialogue. So you can have a business-friendly environment. You can have the middle class with a lower tax burden, and a business can thrive. We're lucky our business has grown not only in lower New York State, but in upper New York State where we manufacture. We're over 2,000 people. We've just become a member of the S&P 500, and we've grown from a little $200,000 investment from Governor Mario Cuomo to a company worth over $25 billion today in the market. So you can thrive in New York, and one of the reasons we've been thriving so well recently is because the governor is governing well. But it isn't just governing that matters. It's really innovating, I think, that makes a difference. People don't think of our government, our governor, and our legislators as innovators. But in New York, we're lucky. We have an innovator. We have somebody who's willing to think differently. These regional economic councils, actually, we say something, they listen. We rate something high, it gets funded. We rate it low, it doesn't get funded. That's innovation in how you do things from the local community ground up. And this whole program about marrying the state's university system with a way to get entrepreneurs going on campus, get businesses going, that's innovation. Innovation is really more than governing. He is innovating. So it's really my pleasure to introduce not only the governor of our great state, but what I would like to dub from this day forward, the chief innovator of our state, Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, New Paltz. It is a pleasure to be back here at SUNY New Paltz. It's always a pleasure. And first, let me begin by thanking President Christian for organizing today and for all the help and all the assistance and for the great leadership that he has brought to the university. President Christian, thank you very much. Pleasure to be with you, sir. To Marcia Gordon, who is the president and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester, and she's been a great partner to the state. Marcia, thank you very much for all you do. To Dr. Len Schleifer, you did not stick to the script, Len. They told you stick to the script. Len Schleifer is the head founder, innovator, to use his word, of Regeneron, which is a great, great company. It's doing great things. It's helping people. It's a great commercial success, Dr. Schleifer. And he's right in the story he tells, plus or minus, plus or minus. The Regeneron was a company that was invested in very early by the state of New York. I did call Dr. Schleifer last year, and I got him on the phone, and I said, "Hello, Dr. Schleifer, Governor Cuomo." He said, "Governor Cuomo, the one I know?" I said, "No, another one." And he said, "Well, why are you calling?" I said, "Remember that grant from the state of New York?" He says, "Yes, but it was 20 years ago I got that grant." I said, "I know. You know what they say about payback, Len? Well, the Cuomos never forget. Now you have to be the co-chair of the Regional Economic Development Council in gratitude for that grant that you've gotten so that others may have grants and do as well as you did." And he's been the co-chair of the Regional Economic Development Council. He's brought all that talent, all that entrepreneurship to the REDC, and he's really doing great. And his success and the company's success makes the point that we're trying to make, that you can invest in businesses, grow businesses, and keep those businesses in the state of New York and have those jobs here. And we want to thank him for what he's done on every level. Dr. Schleifer, pleasure to be with you. And thank all of you for taking the time to come out today. There's about 5-6 weeks left in the legislative session in Albany. The legislature then leaves for the remainder of the year. 5-6 weeks left. There's still a lot of important work to do, and there's an important piece of business that I would like to get done, in particular, that I would like to talk to you about today, because I think it's something that you would be interested in. As you know, the mission for the state of New York, the #1 mission, is very simple. It's about getting the economy running. It's about creating jobs. Why? The best thing I can do for cities, counties, towns across the state is get that economy running. If you have the economy running, if businesses are working, revenues are being generated, people are paying taxes, it's the single best thing we can do. The best thing you can do for any individual in the state is get them a job, let them know there's a career, the graduates coming out of New Paltz, let them know their futures are here. It's especially important now because the economy has been faltering on a national level for years, and it can make a difference what we do on the state level. We had some recent good news. The unemployment rate is down to 7.8%, which is the lowest it's been since 2009. So that is good news. But that doesn't change the basic trajectory, which is the economy, especially the upstate economy in New York, has been struggling for decades, if you want to be honest and tell the truth. Our approach has been 2 steps. First step is you have to do something about both the reality and the perception that New York is a high-tax state. We've talked for years about how society is getting more mobile and businesses are more mobile and people are more mobile, and they will leave, and they can shop, and they can vote with their feet. And taxes make a difference. And New York's reputation as the high-tax state, the tax capital state, is a killer when it comes to economic development. And whether we're 49th out of 50 or 48th out of 50, being at the bottom of the barrel hurts. What do we do about the perception? Change the reality. And that's what we've been doing. We've been reducing taxes for 2.5 years. That's what the property tax cap was all about. The most oppressive tax in this state is the property tax. People think it's the income tax. It's not. It's the property tax. It chases people from their homes. It's made people prisoners in their homes because they can't afford to sell the home, but they can't afford to pay the taxes. The property tax cap is actually working. We just went through the school board elections in this state the past couple of days. 96% of the school districts put in a budget in compliance with the cap. The cap is 2%. 96% were within the cap, the 2% growth. 4% were not in the cap. Of those 4%, 75% were rejected by the voters. So the property tax cap is working. We cut middle-class taxes to the lowest rate in 60 years. Not adjusted for inflation, no funny business with the numbers, the lowest rate in 60 years for the middle class defined broadly up to $300,000 in income. And we reduced state spending to be within our own 2% cap, so the state's budget doesn't go up more than 2%. For those of you who are familiar with budgets, you know that if you're at 2% growth, really you're net negative because you have all those fixed costs. So when it comes to the high tax state, we've cut taxes, we've controlled spending, and we've made great progress in 2.5 years. The second step has been a different economic development approach where we work with regions across the state on higher education-driven public-private sector partnerships. Now, this sounds like a mouthful, but it's actually working, and it's working well. Regionalism, meaning they talk about the state economy. There really is no state economy. There are regional economies all across the state. And what happens in Buffalo and Western New York in the economy is different than the Hudson Valley, is different than the North Country. And if you want to work on economic development, you have to do it region by region, because each region is its own separate, distinct commodity. Within that region, it's public-private sector partnerships, it's getting everyone at the same table, and it's making the academic universities part of the economic development plan. And that's what we've been doing. That's the Regional Economic Development Council that we were talking about. That's investing in the SUNY system through the SUNY 2020, which has been an unprecedented investment in the SUNY system. Innovation hotspots, the New York Open for Business campaign. We have business incubators on campuses all across the state now. We have a venture capital fund that is investing in the Regenerons of tomorrow, businesses that are growing on the campuses, a community college redesign that has apprenticeship programs in the community colleges. So we've been doing all of this. It is working, and we are making progress, and the arrows are pointed in the right direction for the first time in a long time. But we must bring all those pieces together, and we have to bring this approach to scale. And that's what today is all about, because big problems require big solutions, and we have parts of this state that are still lagging and are far behind. So, how do you bring it to scale? New York is a high-tax state, both in reality and perception. Let's shatter that image once and for all, and we want to do it with a program we call the Tax-Free New York program, which is very simple. 100% tax-free communities that are established all across the state. New York tax-free program is based on the following facts. First fact, you look at where the economy is growing. It's always growing from a higher education facility. In this state, across this nation, around this planet. The schools, the higher education facilities, are where the new economic ideas are coming from. Fact that there is a positive synergy that's never existed before between academia and entrepreneurship. The old paradigm was you were either in business or you were an academic, right? You went to school to learn, and then you went to the business community. The new paradigm is they're together. The greatest universities in this country are birthing the businesses of tomorrow. That's where the patents are coming from. That's where the copyright is coming from. So we know the connection and the synergy between academia and entrepreneurial activity. Fact that the state of New York has a superb higher education system, both in the private schools and in the public schools. It is a fact that New York, with our education system and with our population, we are actually generating the ideas and we're commercializing them, and they are becoming jobs and businesses, but we lose them. We lose 75% of the new high-tech startup companies in the first year. 75%. What does that mean? We're birthing them. We have the schools, we have the people, we have the ideas, we're making the company, and they leave because it gets back to New York's reputation as being a high-tax state. They're young companies, they decide to go to a lower tax state, they have an investment firm that comes in, that picks them up, that says, I'm bringing you to Texas, I'm bringing you to Florida, I'm bringing you to Massachusetts, to a lower tax environment. That's the essence of our problem right now. It's a fact that businesses and entrepreneurial activity are attracted to lower tax communities. The number one reason why businesses leave New York is the taxes. Our competition are low tax or no tax states. And the fact that the upstate economy has had more difficulty than the downstate economy and really does need special attention because it's a different circumstance. When you look at the job growth numbers over the past decade, the picture is very clear. At a time when the U.S. was creating 9% more jobs, New York City 16%, statewide 11%, upstate was only creating 5% more jobs. Less than the state, less than New York City, less than the national average. So where does that take you to? It takes you to an approach that says the sweet spot is where entrepreneurship meets academia, meets a regional economy in a tax-free environment in upstate New York. That's what you want to create, and that's what this program does. Promote entrepreneurship and job creation on higher ed campuses as tax-free communities and focus on the upstate economy. We take the SUNY system in the state of New York as the framework for entrepreneurial tax-free communities. What do you mean by tax-free? I mean tax-free. I mean what the words suggest. No business tax, no sales tax, no property tax, no franchise fee, and no income tax for the owner of the company or the employees of the company. A truly no-tax zone. What do you mean by community? I mean the SUNY campuses themselves and 200 square feet adjoining a SUNY campus as a tax-free zone. Who would be eligible? We want new businesses and new jobs. Businesses moving into the state, startup companies that are starting up on the campus and can stay there or move to an adjoining spot, tax-free. But it's about new jobs, new businesses, not transferring existing jobs. What are the eligible areas? 64 SUNY campuses. 55 of the 64 are basically all across upstate New York. We also have a 3 million square foot pool for private university space. We don't want to leave out Marist, otherwise Dennis will be upset. 20 strategically located state properties also across the state. How much space does that mean? How much space would be eligible as tax-free space? 120 million square feet. Is 120 million square feet a lot or a little? 120 million square feet is larger than the commercial space in San Francisco and Philadelphia combined. It is larger than all the office space in Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse combined. So this is not a boutique niche approach. This would create a tremendous amount of space that I believe would be a game changer for upstate New York. And the locations of the SUNY system as the framework are conveniently located all across upstate. 93% of the entire state lives within 15 miles of a SUNY campus, 97% within 20 miles. This approach builds on everything we've been doing for 2.5 years and takes it to scale and to a statewide scale. It is big. It would be a big change for New York, but this is a state that was born from bold ideas, and I believe it will be reborn from bold ideas. You put together a tax-free environment and the great state of New York, what could be better than those two things? And that's what this proposal is all about, and it's the proposal that I made to the legislature yesterday, and I would hope that you consider, and I would hope that you support. In closing, let me say this. The short story is, as you heard from the President and from Marcia and from Len, 2.5 years we've made progress. There is no doubt the government is working in a way it hasn't worked before. We passed 3 budgets on time. You remember how the state of New York could never pass a budget, and every April you would go through that fiasco that you would watch on the news of the state trying to get a budget done and all sorts of gridlock and all sorts of politics. Well, we're passing budgets, we're passing laws, the state government is functioning, we are going the right way on taxes. Taxes are coming down all across the board. We're making progress. But this state has a lot of time to make up for. And this state has a lot of places that have been left behind for a long time, especially all across upstate New York. And we need to do more and we need to do better, because there is no reason why any part in this state should not be succeeding economically. There is no reason. I spent 8 years in Washington. I worked in the Clinton administration. I've been in every state in this nation many, many times. Literally, I've seen everything in every state. And there is no state that has anything over on the state of New York. We have everything they have plus. And there's no reason why any county in this state should be struggling. I really believe that. It's not about our people and it's not about our state. It's about what we have done to ourselves. We're strangling ourselves in our own regulation. We have an oppressive tax structure, makes us one of the highest tax states in the nation, which is a tremendous disability for this state. But it's not about our assets and it's not about our people. We just have to get out of our own way. And we have to do it now because we've been suffering for too long. It is a big idea, it's a big proposal, but it's what this state needs at this time to make a real, real difference. It's been proven over the past 2 years, but this will bring it to scale. And at the end of the day, what you want to get done, what I want to get done, what we want to do as a citizen, what we want to get done as a parent, is to leave this place a little bit better for our kids and for the next generation than we found it, right? To leave your children with a better home than you had, and a little bit of an advantage that you didn't have. And their home and our home is the state of New York. And this will make the state of New York a better state of New York. Thank you, and God bless you.